Hello, hi, how are you doing? So today's episode, karibu niseme session, we are not in session. Today's episode is inspired by a question that I get a lot in my sessions with single ladies. And the question is, Muthoni, how come I never get to experience true love? Like in my years, in my 35 years, in my 28 years, I've never really experienced genuine true love. I'd want to date, yes, but the men I've been dating either lie to me, they're toxic, they're cheating on me, they're emotionally unavailable. I want to experience that relationship and I want to experience that love. In all those relationships, even in my friendships, I feel like I don't get enough value. And the reason maybe you find yourself, one of the reasons, and it's a serious one, that you find yourself in half-baked relationships, friendships, and relations, even with your friends or the people in your life, is because number one, whatever you want to experience, you do not know it firsthand. For example, I want a man who is emotionally available. So the question is, how in tune are you with your emotions? Yeah, how emotionally connected are you with yourself, such that when you find this person who is emotionally available, you will recognize it. Sometimes the reason we don't recognize some of these things, because we meet good men. You meet good men even you as a single ladies. But sometimes because we don't really know, we just know what we're looking for by the name. I want emotionally available, but we don't know what it's supposed to feel like. We don't know practically what it's like, what it looks like. So for you to be able to experience that, you have to develop a good relationship with yourself. The relationship you have with yourself sets the tone for every other relationship. For example, if you're consistent, this is what having a good relationship with yourself looks like. You're consistent with your routines. Maybe you have a morning routine that boosts your energy. You have a self-care routine. You keep your promises to yourself. I promise myself that I want to be organized this week. I promise myself that every once a week I'll watch a podcast to nurture me. I promise myself to make this particular amount of money and to do this with that money. You keep your own promises to yourself. When you wake up in the morning, you check up on yourself. And this is something we do in my sessions. And this is where you start to learn emotional connection. You ask yourself, how am I feeling? What am I feeling today? How do I want my day to go today? Today I'm feeling so low. I'm feeling not good about myself. So what can I do? Maybe you want to have some coffee. You want to do a bit of prayer or a bit of meditation. All right. So, and then in the evening, you're like, okay, so how did my day go? What did I like about my day? What didn't I like about it? What can I change about my tomorrow? Okay, what am I feeling? What am I feeling? You know, so when you learn to keep your own promises to yourself, when you learn to be consistent with the things that matter to you, when you learn to be emotionally connected to yourself, when you learn to be reliable to yourself. You remember what I said during the other Wednesday? Is it Wednesday or on Friday? The other video where I said learning ways to self-soothe yourself. So you already know what consistency feels like. You already know what it is because you're practicing it in your own life. So when you start getting to know someone and they are not consistent, you pick it very early. You pick it very early because you already know what it is. You're emotionally connected with yourself. You know how to process your emotions. You know how to talk to yourself and to your inner child. You know how to self-soothe. You know how to learn your lessons while still being kind to yourself. How to correct yourself with love. Now, when you start dating someone and then they're shouting and then they are mean, you'll be able to know, I don't want this. Because whatever I want, I am also experiencing it. Sometimes it's the relationship you have with yourself. If the relationship you have with yourself is toxic, like the things you tell yourself in your own space, especially when you mess up, they are so vile. You can't even tell someone out loud. The things you tell yourself, you can't even tell another person. So when you meet with a guy who is giving you backhanded compliments, you don't even recognize this is wrong, because that's also what you're doing to yourself. So make sure you have a good relationship with yourself. The things you want to experience in that relationship, Muthoni, I want to experience true love. I want to experience commitment. Make sure you're committed to yourself. Make sure you prioritize yourself so you know what it's like to be a priority. Make sure you love yourself so you know what love feels like first hand. So someone will not come and wrap up something toxic in a shiny bag and give it to you as love. You already know what love feels like because you love yourself. The things you want to experience in that relationship, you have to start experiencing them before you get there. You have to know what they look like, what they feel like. And the reason sometimes we say, oh, initially I didn't know. You can meet someone and then eventually they can mess up. People can lie or people can change. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about you ignoring these things from the beginning. So what relationship do you have with yourself? Because it's not a matter, some ladies say, oh, I'm done dating men from this tribe, I want to date men from this other tribe. It won't matter because you're still you. The relationship you have with yourself determines the relationships you create even with your friends, the relationships you have even with other people. So what relationship do you have with yourself? How committed are you to yourself? How consistent are you with things that matter to you? How much do you prioritize yourself? How are your boundaries? How much self-respect do you have for yourself? Such that when you start dating people and they don't respect your boundaries and they have no respect even for things that you tell them not to do, then that's not your tribe. Those are not the people you're trying to change. Right? Like, you can't change anyone, and I keep saying this. So cultivate the relationship you have with yourself. That is what will set the tone for the things you're willing to allow, the things you're willing to say no to.